It's kind of crazy you brought it up. I actually just had a long talk with Rollie.
Mr. Sign Up for KOs, Rollie Romero is suffering from mental health issues right now. And AB has reached out to Rollie and had a long talk with him. Shout out to Amy Kaplan of Fansided for bringing this to our attention. Now, before we get into this next video, make sure that you hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subbed to the channel. Y'all don't want to miss this one. So Rollie missed the sign up for KOs, man. He been going through a real bad stretch lately. You dig what I'm saying? Ever since he got knocked out by Gervonta Davis, he been going through a bad stretch. It even started before he ever stepped in the ring with Tank. Y'all remember when he got accused of being a sexual predator? When this random girl came out, tried to accuse Rollie of sexually assaulting her. You know, Rollie almost missed out on that Gervonta Davis fight. He actually did miss out on the fight. You know, he got a second chance to get that fight. But hey, it took a big, huge payday away from him at the moment. You know what I'm talking about? I remember at the time he was talking about how sad he was because he had promised that he was going to buy his mother a house. And he wasn't able to do it because he ain't had no bread. You know, he was banking on that Gervonta Davis fight. He was able to get the fight with Tank, and he got knocked out. He got knocked out in devastating fashion. You know, he didn't know where he was. He fell through the ropes and all of that. And it was actually a lot similar to what happened to Adrien Broner when he fought Marcos Maidana. You know, Adrien Broner took a much worse beating. The way that they got dropped, went through the ropes. Adrien Broner did get up and he went on to fight, you know, the full 12th round. So it was different in that aspect because, you know, Rollie, he didn't get up. But then Rollie, he looked like he was taking the knockout okay. You know, in the media, he looked like he was taking it okay. Rollie, he talks a lot of trash. He got the trolling, talking about he wanted to fight everybody from Tyson Fury to Errol Spence. And the thing with Rollie, man, is you don't never know if he even taking himself serious, right? He say these outrageous things, but he be having a dead serious look on his face. So it kind of make you wonder, like, do he really want to fight Errol Spence? Does he, you know what I'm saying? He just be saying some crazy stuff, kind of like Adrien Broner. You know, when he was up and coming in the game, Adrien Broner used to say the most outrageous things. Now, of course, AB and Rollie, they have different swags. You know what I'm saying? They swag is different. Rollie is just looked at as kind of just a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people look at Rollie as a weirdo. A lot of people looked at AB as like a boxer / comedian. You know what I'm talking about? He had that swag. He was doing innovative things. You know, he came from a whole different culture than Rollie did. So that's understandable. But they do have a lot in common. But lately we've heard, you know, Rollie, he sound like he going off the deep end. You know, he calling out everybody from cruiserweights to Errol Spence, and he just saying all type of crazy stuff. And when you look at him, he look like he dead serious. But I think that Rollie, he does all of that to try to save face in the media. You know, he really hurting deep down inside from what happened to him, from the fans trolling him and all of that. But he does all of that stuff because that's his way of keeping the fans and the media attention off of what happened to him in the ring. Because he's still very bothered by getting knocked out in the ring. And you know, when somebody like Adrien Broner, when somebody like Rollie Romero gets stopped, it's different than anybody else because they talk a whole lot of stuff, you know, and they're expected to back it up. It's just like when AB took that beating from Marcos Maidana. It was hard for him to deal with that because, man, he got a whole bunch of backlash from the fans and the media. But now recently, after all of that I just told y'all about that Rollie was dealing with, he just got dropped again and knocked out again in sparring. Kind of the same way that Gervonta Davis landed the shot and knocked him out. Well, this time it was on the same spot and it knocked him out in sparring, and the footage is up everywhere. Everybody has seen it. Y'all watching it. Y'all seen it. And just to keep it 100 with y'all, from what AB is saying, Rollie is not taking it too well. He's not taking this too well at all. Now Rollie is really dealing with it mentally on top of everything else he was already dealing with. And Rollie is having a lot of issues, and he's having a hard time dealing with this leak sparring that dropped. You know what I'm talking about? He's having a hard time dealing with it. And Rollie, he said on several occasions that he loves Adrien Broner. Adrien Broner is, you know, his favorite all-time fighter. He's the biggest Adrien Broner fan ever. Although he did call out Adrien Broner, they did try to make a fight with him and Adrien Broner, and AB, you know, he didn't respond to it. But yeah, he loved him some Adrien Broner. So Adrien Broner, he saw what happened to Rollie. He heard about what was going on with Rollie, and that Rollie is dealing with a whole lot of issues mentally right now. And bad thing about it is when that sparring footage came out, they announced his next fight, which is a championship fight at 140 pounds on that same day. That's a whole lot for a fighter to deal with. Adrien Broner, in the recent interview that he just did, he was talking about mental health, and he was asking a question, oh, how does he deal with all of the fans and the media talking all the junk that they do? And, you know, what part does it play on his mental health? Well, he said he don't really care about what the fans and the media say. He said that don't bother him at all. But he did talk about how, you know, boxing is like 90% mental and 10% physical. And he says, you know, if your mental ain't right, you can get beat by any Rudy Poo because you just not in the fight. Your mental's not right. And then he went on to say, look, it's funny that you brought that up because I just had a long conversation with Rolando Romero because he's going through a lot of mental issues, a lot of mental health issues right now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play y'all the audio, and I'm going to just let y'all hear what AB had to say about his conversation that he had with Rolando Romero.
It's kind of crazy you brought it up. I actually just had a long talk with Rollie, and he called me, and you know, right now he's actually going through a lot of stuff mentally, you know, when it comes to boxing, you know, and I just, like I told him, and you know, you can't let that phase you, you know. You know, in boxing, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, and you know, you gotta keep rolling. You gotta keep working. Like I told him, you know, go in the gym with the same confidence, and don't let that shit move you, man. Just keep working.
So yeah, y'all heard it, you know, and shout out to AB for being available, you know, for being available to a young up and coming fighter like Rollie, you know, that's going through a whole lot of things. And AB, man, it ain't nobody better than AB to be able to give advice like that. You know, Adrien Broner could give advice to a lot of these fighters because Adrien Broner, man, he had it all and he messed up everything. And we know that AB has had to go through a lot mentally because being on top, losing it all, and the only reason is because you were undisciplined and you were your own worst enemy, and you refused to listen to the other guys like Floyd Mayweather that was around you, that was giving you game. That's a lot to deal with. Let's just keep it 100. So AB, he could give somebody like Rollie a lot of advice and take him under his wing and show him, you know, what not to do. The things that he did that, you know, Rollie don't have to go through because now you got somebody that's telling you the ins and the outs and the outs and the ins. And yeah, that's cool that Rollie, he reached out to AB. He reached out to AB and AB hollered back at him. Like you heard AB say, they had a long talk with each other. He didn't say everything that they talked about, but it was cool. It was cool, you know, even though, like I told y'all before, that fight was offered to Adrien Broner. They offered Adrien Broner a pay-per-view fight with Rolando Romero over there at the PBC, but AB, you know, he didn't respond to it. He wasn't interested in it, and then he ended up signing this BLK Prime deal. He better hope that this deal with BLK Prime works out for him, and it works out good, because to me, with the PBC, he kind of burnt the bridge over there. But that's a whole different story in itself. But you know, like I said, shout out to AB for being available. Sometimes these young fighters, they need these other fighters that, you know, came up before them to just be available They need somebody to be able to give them advice and talk to and give them the ins and the outs of the game and, you know, uplift them when they down. A lot of these fighters, you know, hey, man, today is a whole different age than it was when I was growing up watching boxing. It wasn't no social media. Fans couldn't get at, you know, fighters and athletes like that. Now, fans can say anything they want to fighters and athletes. You see an athlete comment, and all you see is fans right up under their comments trolling them. And these is grown men. That's one thing I do not ever do. I don't get under no athlete's comment and talk bad to them or troll them. You know what I'm talking about? But fans can do that now. And a lot of these fighters, especially these young fighters, they watch everything that go on social media. And it bothers them. And you never know how it can affect the fighter. And Rollie, you know, suffering that knockout that he did versus Tank. And then you saw he suffered another knockout damn near in the same fashion in sparring. You don't know if he's ever going to be the same again mentally. Just like AB talked about, he was never the same mentally after he took that beating from Marcos Madonna. And Rollie is young, just like AB was, and you just never know what it do to their mental. You dig what I'm saying? So it's a good thing that he's able to reach out to somebody like Adrien Broner and get advice from somebody like AB that went through the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? AB was able to get up and fight on, but he went through the same thing. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think that Rollie will ever be the same? Do y'all think that he'll ever be any good? You know what I'm talking about? Do y'all think that he'll ever get over being knocked out by Gervonta Davis and then being knocked out in sparring? Let me know how y'all feel about this whole situation. Tap on my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone. I'm topless, different from them laws, want no dogs in my cockpit.